James, you've been a model, a presenter, and an actor.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, yeah, I've done all of those in the past.
Yeah, that's your past. Just a quick one on that. Out of those three, which was the hardest?
The hardest? Oh, probably presenting, I'd have thought, because presenting is live, and I hadn't had any training. I hadn't really trained for acting either, but then, after a few weeks, you get into it, as you know.
Yeah.
You get used to it, and you can go take off the take, can't you? But whereas with live telly, one go, it's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, presenting is very, very hard.
You make it look pretty hard, to be honest.
I do. I mean, I've just got a face that's hard. Anyhow, listen. Now you're in comedy. You've been doing it for what, 3 years now?
4 years this week. It is.
So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So stand up. What made you think that you were funny?
I'm just really funny. I'm just one of those people that's just always makes everyone laugh all the time. No, I've just always fancied it,
Really?
And I've always been a big fan of stand up, and I was very lucky. I did 11 and a half years of TV jobs back to back, which was fantastic. But I fancied a change, fancied learning a new skill, and I thought this might be a good thing to do, which I've been doing. And then it works alongside the acting auditions, because I can do this in the evenings, in and around London, and still audition like I did today.
Yeah. So you're on the comedy circuit, and you've been in it now for 4 years. Who were your comedy heroes that you looked up to in stand-up?
In stand-up, probably the first one was Eddie Murphy, and then of course, brilliant, wasn't it? Amazing. Not that PC, but times have changed, haven't they? Billy Connolly, of course, and then latterly probably Eddie Izzard. Those sort of guys, I think. Stuart Lee,
And for those people that haven't seen you perform, what kind of comedy stand-up do you actually do?
Funny, really funny.
Yeah?
I'm not very groundbreaking. I mean, that's the thing, is that it's funny when you've been a fan. All the guys that I watched and girls I watched, were all very different to what I can do there. And I've tried it myself and thought, actually, I'm very different from my heroes. And the guys I thought weren't as good, I've now got a lot of respect for, because I think what they do is actually really difficult. And so it's a weird one. You learn with experience.
So you're on tour at the moment. How many gigs have you got this year to do? I mean, how does it
Well,
work
I'm not really on tour as such. I'm just on the circuit. I did the open mic circuit, which is unpaid, as you probably know, for the first sort of year or so, and then I started picking up paid gigs, and I started paying the bills with it about 18 months ago. So it takes a while, and you've got to do like 5-6 gigs a week up and down the country. So I do about 5 a week now, I think, but I'm getting closer to London, because all the best comics, or the biggest, well, most of them live in London, so they take all the best gigs. So a big comic living in London can expect to do sort of 3 or 4 gigs a night, Thursday to Sunday, and then take Monday to Wednesday off. So it's hard for us lesser comics to get any work on those days. I might do the odd gig early in the week, but then the rest of the time I've got to leave town.
Yeah. So what's the best heckle that someone's ever...
Tell us a joke is always tough, because you think you are, someone says, tell us a joke, I've never been able to deal with that. I saw Adam Bloom one time said, I'll tell you 2 jokes. First, you can handle your drink, and secondly, your parents are proud of you, which was a good put down,
Put down, yeah.
But that's probably I don't really mind heckles, because then you're at least, interacting with people. The worst thing is, second worst is silence. When you drop a punchline and nothing happens. You might see it in a minute. Or worse than that is when that starts, and then within 5 minutes people start muttering, talking, it gets louder and louder, and you're just shouting and getting nothing. That has happened a couple of times.
How does that make you feel as a performer?
Tense, nervous, and you're also aware that you don't get paid unless you do your time. So you might be 3 minutes into a 20-minute set going, oh no, I've got to stay up here for 17 minutes now, and they're not even listening. That's quite painful. Yeah.
Now you're doing stand-up. I mean, would you like to go back into sort of comedy TV? You like combine?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like anyone really. I'd love to do movies. I'd love to do a sitcom. I'd love to do a nice drama. Like most people. But I'm realistic enough to realise that you've got to pay the bills and try and do what you enjoy. So I'm loving doing the stand-up, learning every day, and I can audition for other stuff and see what happens.
I mean, I've watched some of your stuff that on YouTube at the moment, and you talk about your friend Barry.
Yeah.
And for those
It's
people,
real, yeah.
Explain to people that don't know who Barry.
Well, Barry's one of my best mates from back in Bristol, and he's very funny. He doesn't know he's funny. One of those. I think we've all got a friend like Barry who says and does the wrong thing, and makes big mistakes, but is always funny. Very charming bloke. You can see a clip of mine on YouTube actually. If you put in my name into YouTube, James Redmond, then stand up, it will come up. And Barry watched that. I think I've got about 5 or 6 stories about Barry, which are all pretty bad and kind of exaggerated. And I put it on Facebook, and he commented on it. He said the only problem he had with it was that he wasn't 5'6". He's 5'7". He didn't care about the rest of it, which was all really.
I don't know if I'd want you as a friend if you don't know how tall I am. You know, we talked about stand-up and stuff like that, but comedy heroes. Everybody's got a comedy hero. And who's your main comedy hero?
Well, now, there's a guy called Daniel Kitson who's not so well known. He was in the first series of Phoenix Nights, but he doesn't really like telly, so he does mainly live stuff, and he's amazing. He's probably the best British act I've seen on the circuit here. But yeah, I mean, Louis C.K. I think is amazing at the moment. I mean, a lot of it's about taste, isn't it? I like Greg Davis. There's lots of great comics. I mean, you try and analyse it and say, I want anecdotal or one-liners or a storyteller or surreal or physical, musical, whatever it is. But in the end, Terry Alderton just makes me laugh. I wouldn't have guessed that he'd be my favourite, but if I had to choose a gig tonight, I'd watch Terry because he's going to make me laugh, immediately.
Wonderful. Well, that's about it, James. Just like to wish you good luck for
Thank
tonight.
you very much. I do need it. Thank you for your help.
You don't. And thanks for joining us at ME1 TV.
Cheers.